Shalom, everyone, and welcome back to Auction for the Soul. This week's class is dedicated for Refuah Shlema to Alta Rivka Bat Hinda and Malka Bat Hinda Alav Shalom. May Alta Rivka Bat Hinda have a massive Refuah Shlema. She should get healed. Refuah Nefesh, Refuah Guf. And Malka Bat Hinda Alav Shalom, her neshama should have an aliyah. Okay, Perashat Re'eh. Okay, Perashat Re'eh starts with the following. Moses is continuing his speech up on right outside in Jordan, waiting with the Jewish people, guiding them as they're about to enter into the land of Israel, and giving them these last pieces of wisdom to help inspire them to be the best version of themselves. And he says as follows. He says like this. He says, Re'eh anochi noten lefnechem hayom bracha uklala. He says over here, see, I place before you today the bracha uklala. Now, this verse is profound, okay? Because not just because Moses is instructing the Jewish people about this thing called a bracha, a blessing, uklala, and a curse, but because of the way in which this sentence is structured. Re'eh is talking to the singular. The word lifnechem is plural. And interestingly, the word noten is in the present, meaning the word should have said natan, it should have said in the past, but it says in the present. And the question is, why are all these different tenses used over here? Remember that we don't believe that anything is accidental in the Torah itself, that everything that we find ourselves looking at tense-wise, we're talking about every aspect of grammar that makes the sentence a sentence, we question. So, number one, why change the tense over here? Re'eh in the for the individual, and not why doesn't say in the plural? Why lifnechem in the plural? Why noten in the present? And also, what is this thing bracha and klala? If God is a God of justice, if God is a being that is interested in doing good, a being that we believe created the world as an act of kindness, why would He want to give people klala? So let's try to unpack this together. So, number one, Re'eh anochi noten lefnechem hayom. One way of understanding this, and we said this last year, but definitely worth repeating because I love this idea from the Slama Rebbe. He says, Re'eh, see, pay attention. I am placing before you something called hayom, today. This thing called time, today. You have 24 hours of it. And what you do with that time will determine whether or not that thing is a bracha uklala. How you invest yourself in time will determine what the day is. Is it a day of blessing and a day of klala? What is blessing? Blessing is taking steps towards achieving your unique mission and goal in this world. Klala are taking the steps that push you away from that goal. And we have to ask another question, which I think is important. A woman asked me this question this week. She had a philosophical question, and she thought I could help her resolve it. And her question was like this: if we say that God is everything, He's omniscient, He's omnipotent, He's everything, all powerful on every level. Okay, if that in fact is the case, then why does He need me to do anything? He doesn't need anything from me. He's self-sufficient. He doesn't need me to keep the Torah, doesn't need me to keep the mitzvot, doesn't need me to keep Shabbat, doesn't need me to keep kosher, doesn't need me for anything. So then why punish me if I don't do those things? So actually, I thought it was a very fair question. If God is self-sufficient, needs nothing, then what benefit does He get from punishing me for not doing? Let me make my own choices. Let it be agnostic. Nothing happens as a result of my actions. So I think this is the world that God creates. God creates a world of action. And there's two kinds of people in the world: the people that are involved in action and the people that are inactive. So like this. You see, Re'eh ani noten lefnechem hayom. God is placing before you this thing called hayom. The word noten is in the present because every single day you have a choice to make. You have a choice to make if the choices that you're going to make today are going to lead to beracha. What's beracha? Are you working on being more patient? Are you working on being more understanding, more kind, more giving? Are you working on your spirituality? Are you working on becoming a better, greater human being? Are you working on giving back to the community that so desperately needs help? Are you working on moving out of where you were last year? If the answer is no, then be mindful that the choices that you are making today are going to lead you, God forbid, to klala. What is klala? Klala is not what you think it is. It's not like a genie going to curse you and you have a mark on your head. Klala is when you're making choices that don't lead you to be the best version of you. Klala is when you are wasting your time. Klala is when you allow yourself to get angry when you should be calm. Klala is when you're lacking in patience and you can't be sovel anything. You just want to go ahead and do whatever you got to do for yourself. When it's only about you, you are in the world of Kala. When you're able to open yourself up into a world of other possibilities, that is the world of Beracha. So we're not talking about a curse, because God would never want to curse his children, but it's more of a consequence of your actions. You see, the choices that you make have a deep impact on the reality that you live in, right? You could either use today and allow it to help you grow using the choices, coming to a class, listening, taking notes, asking questions. That is why we're here. If our time is wasted on silly, things that may be novel, but certainly that don't lead you to becoming a better you, then you might be falling along the path of klala. There's only one choice each of us have to make, and that choice is recognizing what our flaws are and working towards overcoming those flaws. No one is perfect. Everyone has imperfections. We're all here to grow and develop ourselves into something more. Re'eh anochi noten lefnechem hayom. Be mindful, I place before you something called hayom, today, noten, in the present, okay? Because every single day you can do teshuvah. Every single day does not have to be a reflection of your past. As King Solomon, who most geniusly wrote in his book of Proverbs, he says, Kisheva yipol tzadik v'kam, u'rishaim yachshilu bera'a. Right? A righteous man can fall 7 times and rise, but the wicked will stumble over evil, right? And they're evil because they're just so lost. But nofel oivecha al tismach, but when your enemy falls, don't rejoice. And when he stumbles, let your heart not exult. Meaning, we have to be sensitive, right? Things happen in life. People make mistakes all the time, and therefore it's our responsibility to forgive them. Just like every righteous man who reaches a level of righteousness has to have gone through a state of falling and making mistakes. This is true for every male, female on planet Earth. Okay, everyone makes mistakes. Our choice is as to whether or not we want to overcome them. Do I want to be good, right? Do I hope to be better, or do I want to be better? Am I okay with where I am, or am working towards being something more? Passive growth, which is not growth actually. Passive anything is down the path of kala. The only time you can be passive is when it comes to expressing certain midot, your character traits, specifically anger, frustration. That's when you're allowed to be passive. But at 99% of almost every other time that you're in, you have to be proactive. And I would say even there's no real passivity, because you're being proactively working on something else of not expressing. That's being proactive as well. So Moses is saying to the Jewish people, God gave you this thing called bracha u'kala. You choose what it looks like at the end of your life. You choose if the way you spent your time today will lead to beracha, a life of reflecting. After 120 years, are you going to look back with regrets? Are you going to look back and say, oh my gosh, I should have done all these other things and I didn't? Or are you the kind of person that is maximizing their time working towards a goal that is allowing you to express the best of you? That is what beracha means. Et bracha asher tishma'u. The blessing, the verse continues, that you listen to. El mitzvot Hashem Elokechem asher anochi mitzavcha. If you're able to listen to the commandments that God placed before you, right? Asher anochi mitzavchem hayom, today, then you will be blessed. So what does that mean? It means like this, that the blessings are tied into the idea of following the mitzvot. V'hakala, however, next verse, Im lo tishma'u el mitzvot Hashem Elokechem. If you do not heed or listen to my commandments, v'sarta min haderech, and you veer off the path, asher anochi mitzavchem hayom, then I am commanding you today, lelechet achrei elokim acharim, to go after strange foreign gods, asher lo yadatem, that you do not know. That God's going to bring you to this place, this new land, because remember, they're standing outside of Jordan. Moses is watching the Jewish people getting ready to walk into the land of Israel. He says, when you come to the land, into this new land, that God is giving you to inherit, I'm going to give you the blessing on Har Grizim, v'etakalal al Har Eval. The mountains, by the way, if you've ever been to Israel, you've seen these two mountains. Har Grizim, the mountain of the curses, is a black, barren mountain. Nothing is growing on it. Whereas Har Ebel is a mountain that is filled with lush green plants. There's literally side by side, across the street from one another. One has nothing on it. Baracha, okay, is filled with life, and klala and curse is filled with nothingness, barrenness. Your day, you have a choice to make. Are you going to fill it with something that is meaningful, which allows you to become fertile and grow? Spiritual fertility I'm talking about over here. Or is it going to be empty, where you do nothing and nothing has potential growing on it? Is what you're doing right now leading you, allowing you to express best you or lowest, worst you? Now, he's saying something else over here. Why does the commandments lead to a better version of me? Okay, let's answer that question. And let's deal with the question of omni everything. God does not need to curse you, okay? God wants you to have all the baracha in the world. He created a universe of abundance. There's nothing lacking. There are oceans of water in the galaxy, okay? There are oceans of water in space. All of this, there's no shortage of water anywhere. We could find water on other planets, on moons, ice, endless. We're never gonna run out of water. I know there's like a lot of concern about water. There's water everywhere, okay? Not a problem to find water. Okay, we have food. We've never thought we'd have so much food. People today are dying of obesity because they're eating too much. There's no shortage of food today. Okay, we have food everywhere. Now, this is the question. The question is, are you someone that is recognizing that God created a world of abundance for you so that you can choose to be better? That God created a world of endless opportunity and He's guiding us to maximize life through His commandments. Do we see that? Do we recognize that God created a world of mitzvot, of me spending time being mindful of a parent's needs, of working on kibbud avim? Am I mindful that a diet of kashrut has an impact on my soul? Am I aware of the fact that the Shabbat is not just a time where I can spend with family, but it's a time where I can elevate time? That a day of learning every single day, that commitment to being and growing is allowing me to think and rethink who I am and where I'm going, that everything about the Torah itself is a system for personal development and growth. And I say this all the time, and it's worth saying it again. Judaism was designed for peak performers that want to live a life of excellence, not for losers. So if you are a loser, then I'm sorry, you are in a very precarious situation because Judaism may not be for you. But if you are a winner, if you are someone that wants the most out of everything that life has to offer, and you're not the kind of person that wants to settle for anything, that you want first class all the way, right? Then you have to re-examine the Torah that you are a part of, re-examine the set of system of your beliefs, and you will find that it is filled with nuggets and gold and diamonds of everything you need to live a meaningful life with. Everything. It does not want to take away your pleasure. It doesn't want to remove your ability to have all the blessing of life. No, it wants you to have all of it. But we recognize that the way in which we're able to have all the baracha in the world is through boundaries. The mitzvot are those boundaries. The Torah is the boundary. Shabbat is an expression of that. Taharat mishpacha, the laws of family purity, all help in those things, allowing us to be have more pleasure, to have more than the world has to offer. But you choose. Okay, you choose how this world looks. Ki atem avartem et Yarden, when you come over the Yarden, lavo l'reshet haaretz, to inherit the land, asher Hashem lokechem noten lechem, that God wants to give you rish v'yirishtem et otah, and you inherit it, v'yishaftem ba, and you settle in it. Ushmartem la'asot et kol hachukim et mishpatim. Be mindful, be careful. Guard, safeguard all of the chukim and mishpatim, all of the laws that we understand, all the laws we don't understand. Do what you can. Asher notin lefnechem hayom, that I am placing before you. If you do these things, right, that God has placed before you, then you will be blessed with life. These commandments that I place before you, that you watch, you safeguard, lasot ba'aretz, that you are able to perform in this land. Asher notem shem lekechem. That God before you has given you to inherit. This commandment is for everyone and everywhere. people think, oh, well, I'm not living in Israel. Maybe, no, this thing is for you, Asher Atem Chaim. As long as you are alive on this earth, you have a responsibility to go ahead and command yourself to be someone who is working on achieving greatness. I apologize for the background noise. Abed ta'abdun et kol hamakomot asher abdu sham goyim. I want you to utterly wipe out and destroy the places where the nations of the world served idols, right? Why? Why such a harsh decree? Well, it's simple. If you have a philosophy that breeds superficiality, you could never live a world of perfection, right? If you're living, your whole narrative is a lie, if everything you believe in is false, okay, you can never get to a place of correction. The only way to do this is by breaking down these old notions of what moral and immoral is, okay, and then reintroducing a new system of morality. This was the Torah itself. The Torah introduced a new system of morality to the world, which is the same system today we are currently using. Is it perfect? No system is perfect. Why? Because people are imperfect. When you see a Judaism that is not expressing the best of itself, it's because the people that are practicing it, the practitioners, are imperfect. The system itself is beautiful. A world where we are thinking daily about how we can become better and greater. So I want to end with the following. I do believe that the world is changing, and I speak about this a lot. I do believe that we're going to be living in a time of hyperabundance. You think that we have a lot now, it's going to get worse. It's going to get much worse. You can have anything and everything your heart's desire very, very soon. And eventually, robots will take over our jobs, and we won't need anyone to do anything for you. Everything will be done for you. You clap on, clap off, and boom, it'll be done for you. What do you do with your time in a world like that? Re'eh anochi noten lefnechem hayom et habracha v'et haklala. I am placing today before you the bracha and the klala. What is the bracha and the klala? Your ability to choose. Your ability to make choices is what makes you holy. It's what makes you unique. It's what makes you special. As long as you are choosing a life of growth, you will be blessed. If you don't choose this life of growth, then, my friends, the consequences is a superficial version of you. A version of you that thinks it has happiness when it has instead counterfeit happiness. A version of you that thinks it has love when it has really infatuation. A version of you that thinks it has real depth of love when in fact it doesn't have that either. I want you to have what is real. And this book over here, my friends, and your choices will help you get there. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom of happiness, of clarity, a life of beracha, a life where we avoid all the klalot, where we use every single moment, hayom, the today, that God is giving us, the present tense, to recognize that God is not holding our past against us, but what we choose right now, this moment. Thank you so much for listening, and Shabbat Shalom again.